Obviously,
Okay.
we have seen Warhammer step back into sort of new scales recently with Legions Imperialis and even Aeronautica before that. And one of my first videos I did a while back was, will we ever see the return of Battlefleet Gothic? And I remain personally convinced that Games Workshop will do it at some point, but
I agree.
I don't know when or in what context, whether they will just put it into Horus Heresy or whether they have seen some of the response to Legions Imperialis and will go, actually, maybe we will go bigger and touch on the Orcs and the Eldari and things like that. So, yeah, that's my question. Will we ever see Battlefleet Gothic come back? And if so, what setting and what format will it be in?
I never played Battlefleet Gothic, so I would be intrigued to play it. I know, I was just waiting for that. I thought I'd get that out of the way now at the beginning.
Yeah, he's got to go last. He's got to go last.
Yeah, well, no, that's why I'm going to say I'm quite happy to leave to you guys to kind of discuss, because I assume all of you, have you played the old edition, Tom? The original one, or? Yeah. So, guys, take it away. Ben, I would imagine you want to get your point in on this, but I know, Si, you're big on this as well.
I'll let Si go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I do believe it's going to come back, and I think you've seen stuff like, as Tom just mentioned, Aeronautica Imperialis, Titanicus, Epic as well. Somebody told me a while ago that they had a plan, and there was like a triad, and it was Titanicus, Epic, and Aeronautica Imperialis. And at the time they told me this, it was just Titanicus and Aeronautica at the time. And they said, there's something else coming. And it was before Epic was announced, and there's going to be like a triad, which is why I did a really early video on Epic coming back. It was like over a year ago now, before they announced it. But I do believe that Battlefleet Gothic will come back as well. And like Tom says, I think they'll up the scale slightly. The reason I was going to do a video, I said to you earlier today, I'd done the thumbnail for it and everything. I was going to do, will Battlefleet Gothic ever return? But then I was thinking, would they do it Horus Heresy, or would they go 40k like last time? I think if they did Horus Heresy, it would be a mistake, personally. I think
it confines them, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's such a popular game as well. It was well received back in the day. It still plays well now, from what I've been told. I haven't had a game of it for a long time. The ships were amazing, the miniatures were amazing, but you've got so much universe to explore. Leagues of Votann, you could make some amazing ships.
Yes.
That's cool.
You know, there's a whole battle playground to enter there where nobody's seen anything. Dark Eldar ships, Eldar ships, Orc cruisers. You'd be silly to just do Horus Heresy. We've had enough of that with Legions Imperialis. I think if they did it, they're going to sit on it for a while, watch how Epic plays out, and if they do, it'll be in the 40k universe, I think.
Ben?
I've done a few videos about Battlefleet Gothic. It is probably my favourite of all the old specialist games. I do love the old specialist games, but Gothic is it's a perfect game to me. Yes, I think they will bring it back. They did years and years ago. They did a few kind of announcement emails. One of them was kind of a Christmas email going, "Oh, ho, 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 ho. Here's all the stuff that's coming back," and it listed like Blood Bowl, Titanicus, Necromunda, and on the list was Gothic. And then a few years after that, there was kind of an image that was shared at one Warhammer. Was it still called Games Day? Well, it was Warhammer Fest by that point. But yeah, there was one Warhammer Fest, and it was one of those kind of conspiracy-style bulletin boards with different logos slapped on it. And again, Blood Bowl's logo was on there. Interestingly, Mordheim's logo was on there, but so was Gothic's logo on there. And it was generally taken that was an indication of all the games that Games Workshop wanted to bring back. I think they would be foolish not to bring Gothic back, because if nothing else, I mean, look at the popularity that some of the Star Wars games, the space-based games, have had. And in much the same way that they brought Old World back, it's just leaving money on the table for other people. If they don't bring a spaceship-based combat game back and just leave other systems to go out there and do it, I would absolutely hate it if they changed the scale, because I think for everybody who, like myself, had an old Epic army, I've got a huge shot with 1,500 points worth of Epic Orcs and Eldar, about 1,000 points of Eldar and about 1,000 points of Marines, which I can't use in Legions Imperialis. So
that's a good point, actually, in regards to the scale. Yeah,
is just. It basically put it down to me of if they'd made it the same scale as old Epic, I'd have rushed out and bought it. I understand why they didn't make it the same scale because it is a very different game to Epic. But it meant that I kind of went from, I must get this, to, no, okay, I'll just keep playing Epic over here because I don't need to go out and get Legions Imperialis if I can just play Epic. Whereas if they'd made it like they did with Old World, you can get all the old models that you can't get now because they're really expensive because they're out of production. You can get those to add to your Epic army. I'd be like, great, let me add some Dreadnoughts to my Space Marines and everything else. So if they changed the scale and it instantly made all my old and existing fleets obsolete, that would annoy the heck out of me and would probably mean that I would just do what I do now, which is keep playing Battlefleet Gothic.
That's a good point, yeah.
If they kept it the same scale and put it in the Horus Heresy, I'd be a little bit disappointed, but I'd probably then I'm sure there'd be instantly a very large fan community that would go, great, well, let's just use these these Gothic ships from the old day to do Eldar and Orcs in the Great Crusade, and we'll play Great Crusade, thank you very much. We'll buy what we need from you, and we won't buy any more. I think the best thing they could do is if they made something like Battlefleet Indomitus and set it in the current 40k timeline. Because we've got the Indomitus Crusade, we've got fleets of ships going around the galaxy. Wow,
it's crying out for a game, isn't
there.
it? The canvas is there.
Yeah, let's have Torchbearer fleets crashing through the Great Rift to battle against Chaos fleets. Let's have them smashing into Orc, Warlock fleets. Let's have them battling huge.
Yeah, there's Tyranid bioships everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah. Let's have a Gothic fleet game that's for the modern millennium, but keep it the same scale, please.
Well, not that I have thoughts on the original game, because like I say, I haven't played it. However, whenever I do see it played at like my local gaming area, the people who are playing it are very hardcore Battlefleet Gothic players. They love the original rules. I would see this, if it did come back though, Ben, to what you've said, I think they would generally keep it very similar. But I think like Sai said, they would open it up to 40k this time around as well. So you've got more faction options. By the way, Croup Lover over here, I'd love to see War Spheres come back. Those things are awesome.
They were pretty good in the game as well. They could shoot in basically every direction.
Yeah, and I never owned any of those little models, but they were cool.
And if they wanted to make silly money, they could release a Blackstone Fortress again.
Yeah, well, there's still 2 of them left in the galaxy, I think, at this point.
For now,
with more to
for now, yeah.
Or they could just find more. I mean, it's a big galaxy. There could be more of them.
Find more. Easily, they could create some like a Star Fort model. Every time you read the lore on a certain Space Marine chapter, it's like,
the Ramillies Star
Fort. Home base is such a Star Fort or Star Fortress. You could create all sorts and then fight over it with ships.
Wish I had bought the Resin Forge World Ramillies Star Fort back in the day. It was like 40 quid. I mean, it was like 20 years ago, but it was 40 quid.
They'll do a made order if they bring it back.
That needs to be
it won't be 40 quid, though.
The next game of how much we need to find one.
But yeah, definitely. But yeah, I was just gonna say I can see. Sorry, Tom. I was just gonna say I can see it being more like what they've just done with Old World. They keep it very much the same, so you can use your old models. Because I can just see that whole little cult of players for Gothic being very annoyed otherwise. So I think it might be an idea. And if, like you said, Ben, the system is perfect anyway in a lot of those players' eyes, why not keep it generally the same? But Tom, go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say very quickly on the setting. Actually, what they did with Battlefleet Gothic Armada as a PC game showed how great they can tell a story in the Battlefleet Gothic setting, and that's already got the factions there, Necrons, Tau, a lot of it. So a lot of love there. But also thinking to Simon's point about that kind of triad of games they've created around sort of the Epic system now. You can't put Battlefleet Gothic in that. So I guess Games Workshop would probably... And also you've got the added thing that the Heresy story, although we're going to continue to tell it on the tabletop, the Heresy narrative is now kind of closed, I think, for them. So I can't see them trying to squeeze Battlefleet Gothic into that because it doesn't add a lot. Whereas, like you say, the community is crying out for all of these things we've mentioned. And so I think they'd have to be very stubborn-minded to just go, yeah, but we want it to be a Heresy game. Because I think people definitely know what they want, and I think Games Workshop hears it loud and clear.
And we want brute ram ships. That's what we want.
I think Ben's point about Torchbearer fleets and the Indomitus fleets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the Crusade that Gilliman sent out, all the different fleets. That's just crying out for a Battlefleet Gothic, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's ideal. It's an ideal setting.
You could always do a narrative version of it for the Heresy, because you could have a Gloriana ship. Gilliman's
well, there
got
are
his.
still of them. Yeah, Gulliver's still got his.
Exactly. So you could have a version of it that you could tell stories of the Heresy using certain ships and things, but set it in the 40k universe where everyone can have fun with it. Absolutely.
Damn straight.
Thanks for watching this clip. Please do like, comment and subscribe to Morehammer here, and check out the full weekly Warhammer podcast that this clip came from right here. And as always, happy wargaming.